Chris Rock's appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was expected to be another night of sharp wit, laughter, and maybe a bit of controversy, and nothing out of the ordinary for a comedian known for speaking his mind. But what unfolded during that taping turned into a headline-grabbing moment that no one saw coming. The show started normally, with Colbert welcoming Rock to the stage, exchanging some light jokes, and setting the tone for a relaxed conversation. The audience was buzzing, ready for a mix of humor and insight, but as soon as the conversation turned toward more serious topics, the mood took a sharp turn. Stephen Colbert, known for blending political commentary with comedic delivery, gently prodded Rock about his views on current cultural movements, especially cancel culture and how it's affected comedians. Rock didn't hesitate. "Cancel culture? It's just public shaming with better branding," he snapped, drawing both applause and a few uncomfortable laughs from the crowd. Colbert, trying to steer the discussion toward a more nuanced debate, mentioned the importance of accountability, but Chris fired back. "Accountability's funny if people knew what the hell they were even mad about half the time." That's when things began to unravel. As the audience shifted in their seats, Colbert tried to de-escalate, suggesting that some public reactions are the result of evolving societal values. Rock cut in with, "Nah, man. It's a mobile and emotional mob with Wi-Fi." The tension was palpable. What started as a lively exchange was quickly becoming a standoff. Chris was not backing down, and his tone was getting sharper. Colbert, clearly caught off guard by the abrupt seriousness of Rock's stance, pushed back lightly. "But don't you think words matter?" he asked. That was the match that lit the fuse. Chris leaned forward, narrowed his eyes, and replied, "Of course words matter. But so does intent. You can't keep acting like every bad joke is a hate crime." That line drew mixed reactions as some clapped, others stayed silent. The shift in energy was undeniable. Colbert tried to redirect the game, bringing up to the idea that celebrities have a platform and a responsibility, but Chris wasn't having it. "I'm not a politician. I'm a comic. My job isn't to raise your kids or teach ethics. I'm here to tell the ugly, funny, uncomfortable truth." Colbert raised an eyebrow, his smile fading. Things came to a head when Colbert said, "But don't you think comedians have evolved? That there's a line we now know not to cross?" Chris shot back instantly, "You're not evolving if you're afraid to talk. That's not progress. That's censorship in it tuxedo." The crowd gasped. The host was visibly frustrated now, trying to maintain the tone of the show, but Chris was now commanding the conversation. The studio team in the background could be seen signaling, unsure if they should cut to break, but the two were locked in, and neither wanted to be the one to step down. The temperature in the room rose even more when Colbert said, "But don't you think comedy should aim to uplift rather than provoke?" Rock smiled with a hint of sarcasm and said, "Comedy ain't church. Stephen, you want uplifting? Watch a Hallmark movie." The audience laughed nervously, unsure of where this was all headed. The production team finally decided to go to commercial, and as the cameras cut away, sources saw Colbert leaned in and told Chris they'd be wrapping the segment early. Rock reportedly stood up, laughed, and said, "Guess I struck a nerve," before walking off the stage. When the show returned from break, Colbert addressed the audience briefly, saying, "Sometimes passionate people don't see eye to eye." Chris Rock has left for the evening, and we wish him the best. It was a graceful attempt to smooth things over, but the viewers knew something bigger had just happened. Social media was instantly flooded with clips and commentary. Some fans sided with Chris, calling him a truth-teller and accusing Colbert of stifling real talk. Others thought Rock had gone too far and disrespected the platform. Either way, everyone had an opinion, and the internet was ablaze. Colbert remained mostly silent about the incident for the next few days, while Rock doubled down in a series of stand-up appearances. In one set, he joked, they invited Chris Rock and expected Mr. Rogers, getting a huge laugh from the crowd. He went on to say, "You don't bring a tiger on stage and act surprised when it growls." It became clear that Rock had no regrets. In his mind, he had spoken truthfully, and if that cost him airtime, so be it. The incident only seemed to elevate his brand among those who already admired his no-nonsense approach. Entertainment outlets began picking apart the footage. Analysts and columnists questioned whether Rock's comments really crossed a line, or if it was just an honest exchange between two different worldviews. Some suggested the network was unprepared for Rock's unfiltered tone, especially given the show's usual structure. Others believed Colbert mishandled the situation by pushing too hard on topics he knew Rock was passionate about. It became less about who was right and more about the state of comedy, free speech, and the expectations placed on public figures in a media-saturated world. Fans of both Colbert and Rock flooded online platforms to share their thoughts. Some praised the moment for its rawness and honesty, saying it was the most real conversation they'd seen on late-night television in years. Others felt disappointed, wishing the discussion had continued with more respect and less heat. Petitions even circulated, both demanding Rock return and banning him from future appearances. It was clear that one spontaneous moment had sparked a national debate far larger than anyone could have predicted, and both men found themselves in the eye of a very public storm. Insiders later revealed that Rock had been told before the show to expect light politics and a focus on his upcoming tour, not a deep dive into cultural controversies. This might explain part of his aggressive tone. He felt blindsided. Meanwhile, Colbert's team argued that Rock, as a seasoned comic, should have expected hard questions and handled them with a cooler head. Regardless, it was a reminder that live TV remains unpredictable, and even professionals at the top of their game can clash in ways that spark headlines and fan hysteria. The incident also reignited old conversations within the entertainment industry about the role of comedians in modern culture. Should they be held to the same standards as politicians and journalists, or should they be given room to push boundaries, even if it means ruffling feathers? Rock's walk-off was viewed by some as a stand for comedic freedom, while others saw it as a refusal to engage in constructive dialogue. The truth likely lies somewhere in the middle, but the passion from both sides showed just how deeply people care about the intersection of comedy and conscience. As the dust settled, both Rock and Colbert continued their respective paths. Colbert returned to hosting with grace, even joking a week later, "This next guest promised not to storm off." But no pressure. Rock leaned into the controversy, using it to power his material and appearing more energized than ever. The moment on Colbert's stage didn't break him up. It reminded everyone that Chris Rock is not someone who tiptoes. He stomps, loudly and purposefully, and leaves a mark, whether you agree with him or not. In the weeks that followed, ticket sales for Rock's tour skyrocketed. Audiences now came hoping to hear his uncensored take on everything, including the Colbert clash. Meanwhile, TV producers became a bit more cautious when booking outspoken guests. The incident became a lesson for future hosts. If you invite fire, don't be shocked when it burns hot. The Colbert Rock face-off won't be remembered as a food-up. It'll be remembered as one of the rare moments when daytime civility gave way to nighttime honesty, raw and unfiltered. Ultimately, what happened between Chris Rock and Stephen Colbert on that stage wasn't just about two men disagreeing. It was a cultural flashpoint, a moment that exposed the deep rifts between entertainment, expression, and expectations. Rock didn't flinch, and Colbert didn't backpedal. Both stood their ground, and in doing so, gave the audience something rare, real talk in a world of rehearsed moments. It wasn't pretty, but it was powerful, and that's what made it unforgettable.